Anime Expo, the weeb mecca, the Sistine Chapel of anime. I'm Tamanon, and I've been AX's biggest defender. I've been going to Anime Expo now since 2009, and cons in general since 2006. Every year brings new, exciting changes, and sometimes just plain awful ones. This AX had some exciting changes thanks to construction that really sucked, but I hate complaining, so let's make a compliment sandwich about the event. This year, I decided to be a real influencer and buy a brand new super swanky camera. At first, walking around felt a bit like this, but I quickly realized if anything, I was inadequate. I quickly stopped caring and realized if everyone's an influencer, no one really is. Walking in day one this year was a real mess, initially due to the day one confusion. Multiple streets closed, security having me walk in circles around buildings. Eventually, however, I did make it in. Thankfully, this was just AX Day 1 jitters for the con, as entry the rest of the time was an absolute breeze. Just scanning your badges and the easy metal detectors keeping the pace going fast avoided a lot of the trouble from a few years back, to the point I didn't even worry about the time with exiting and entering the con, or going to the beer garden or leaving for JW panels. It was just that smooth, when before you might have to really think about, how long it's going to take you to come in and out of the security line. Probably the easiest entry so far, and having the entire street closed was awesome. This giant open area full of places to sit and food stalls was just plain pleasant, and LA deciding to have a semi-overcast 70 degrees each day was kinda just the cherry on top. As was Creamy Boys, a very nice SoCal ice cream place I'm always happy to see at AX, even if it did start to melt. Just like the mascots at entry, but who wouldn't staying put like that? Long days and all. My absolute favorite part this year was getting to see the first 2 episodes of the Magic Knight Rayearth remake, months early. They even had this cool little photoshoot area where you got to go height mog fictional middle schoolers. Anyway, if you don't know Rayearth, it's a clamp manga that had a fantastic anime in the 90s, but it diverged a little from the manga, so they're remaking it a little bit closer to it. I had some doubts, but overall it made me much more excited for the anime. I wasn't allowed to film the episodes or the parts with the voice actresses, so here's what I remember.
Bastion, say my name, Bastion.
Oh, we're 3 kids from different schools. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Oh no, blinding light. The never-ending story. Do-do-do-ba-da-dee-boo-ba-doo-ba-da-dee.
Bonk, bonk, bonk.
Transformation.
I'm Spiky.
Hikaru locks the F in.
Hikaru is best girl.
It's rabbit hunting season.
Thanks for watching. We're excited. Thanks for listening. We're the voice actresses. Bye.
Now that you're all caught up, the panel was in JW and was easy to get into, and the line management was great. JW panels have had many issues in past years with lines going out the doors, so it was nice not to worry. At the Koto booth, they had the upcoming Rayearth scale figures on display pre-painted, and they look awesome, super amazing. The older Rayearth scales leave some lacking, even if I do love mine, so I'm super stoked to see these final production paint eventually. In general, Koto figures were great. I am a big fan of that company, and their new Oshi line looks cool. They talked a bit about these at their panel, and it kind of looks like their answer to Good Smile's Pop-Up Parade L line. They had the My Valentine on sale, and the price was just right. And by just right, I mean just right for me to immediately purchase and bring home. Now, I think this was $64 before taxes or something like that, which is a little bit more than your typical Pop-Up Parade, but a little bit less than your Pop-Up Parade Extra Large, and I think this is probably like a 1/7 scale or something, so it falls a little bit right in between there. And honestly, just the packaging alone and everything is very, very nice looking. It's comparable to a lot of scales that I've gotten. And I was a little confused when I opened up the base, because I'm like, where are the peg holes? What am I doing here? Is it just supposed to stand on there by itself? And I'm kind of looking at it, and I'm like, well, this is actually pretty nice quality for, essentially a prize figure plus. And I'm just like, where do I stick this in? Is there like a tube that I'm missing that is supposed to like hold it up under the skirt? Sometimes they have that. And I'm like, well, maybe I'm like, what happened? I just, what the? It has magnets on the feet. These 2 magnets that hold on really strong. I don't show it here, but you can even hold it upside down, and you can just position her wherever you want on this magnet base. This is like really cool stuff. I've never seen anything like it. I know in the panel they later said that these Oshi line are all going to have that crazy strong magnet so you can mix and match where your figure is on the base. I don't know if this is going to work with like super heavy figures, but yeah, she's a very decently sized figure, and they were showing off like a very large Buster Blader and Blue Eyes and Red Eyes and some other much larger figures than her that apparently also have this magnet thing they were talking about in the panel. Like the entire line has these magnets so you can mix and match them on the base, and I don't know, put them on your fridge if you want, I guess, standing sideways. I'm very curious about this line, really excited to see where it goes, and just good quality. Yes, I love Yu-Gi-Oh! The manga is the best shonen, sorry. I had to battle my way through AA to get these. No surprise, it is more Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff. Now, it's a little bit different this time because I actually went in with the intent. I really wanted this. I saw that they had posted it onto their Twitter, and it's really cool. It's a dual disc Ita bag. Now, I've bought from this artist before. They do a lot of puzzle ship, which is Yugi Yami, anyway, shipping. And I think this is the coolest thing. It's like a little, I guess, change purse or put your ID in there or whatever, but you can put little keychains in there and you can put little, you know, whatever you want. Like I got a bunch of monster pins I can put in. You can also put one in this little area so it shows up on the card. Really inventive. I know that they plan on making a bigger one soon, and I'm looking forward to that. I hope it's like full size. I also picked up this. This is like a Kaiba Corp, a card holder. You just slide a card in there. These are getting really popular, the card holder things, because of the K-pop. I always pick them up when I find good ones. And this little carabiner dual disc. Dual discs are so cool. It's like the coolest little invention, just being able to play card games on your hand. And the little carabiner slash keychain. And I actually had this Yami keychain, but I really liked it, so I picked up another. And this is their artist information, so if you're interested in buying from them, go ahead and do it. This is what it looks like when it's on you like a dork. And they made this too. It's cute. I guess this is as good a time as any to go to the ugly meat in this sandwich. Artist Alley. It was a disaster. Last year, the big thing was over 900 artists. The entire Kentai Hall was Artist Alley, giant aisles for walking through, space to breathe. It was 2 steps in a very good direction that I was really excited about. This year, they cut Artist Alley in half. Shoved them in the back behind the B-tier brands and scalp shops, and then shoved them even smaller with the 18+ zone taking another big chunk, instead of putting that where it was last year in the main hall. The result? An obvious disaster absolutely no one could have seen coming. Just getting to the artist, an A4 that was only 20 feet from the aisle entrance, took me 10 minutes, despite me getting there like 30 minutes after the hall opened. I think I managed to squeeze down a total of 3 rows of Artist Alley before absolutely giving up. Even day 4, Artist Alley was not manageable. A huge portion of my love for AX has always been the giant AA, so not being able to get through in any meaningful way was just a huge disappointment. And while the 18+ section was easy to get in if you had the 18+ or 21+ wristband from the other 30 places to grab them around the con, the 18+ Artist Alley was another line inside of the 18+ section. It was a one-way, one-row show, and at a certain point, it just doesn't make sense to shove all of this in such a small space. Even walking the halls this year, despite continuing some smart moves from the past 2 years like lane dividers, ended in crush. Going from South to West Hall and vice versa was easy as pie last year, thanks to the Pico being open to con-goers. This year, its closure due to the construction meant walking the long way around outside, or through this area where an opening, exit, escalators, hall, and 21 lounge all converge. If you play Where's Waldo, you can see me due to this green backpack. It's an Ita bag I made with the Clara stuff for Aruma-kun I mentioned buying in my "A 5K card sent me to Japan" vlog video from last month. Segueing, that's also why I picked up these melon soda danglies from Artist Alley. The only other things I managed to get thanks to the impossibility of getting to the booths. They did immediately go into my Ita bag though. I know every year people talk about the crowding. I've always defended AX, saying it was blown out of proportion, or people just not planning ahead knowing about the multiple entrances, etc. This year was literally different. After day 1, driving home, I felt just gaslit by the size of the main hall. Like I've never been in there where I can't move at multiple points. Only to find on Twitter that yes, like the Artist Alley, the entire hall was smaller by basically half. This also explains the 18 plus section and B tier shops taking up over most of where the beautiful Artist Alley was last year. Due to the construction ongoing, they literally did not have the room to utilize. Same with the cosplay shoots and gaming area. No longer was there this huge TCG open play area or Vidya area. No, it was regulated to this exterior tent with a convoluted way to enter. I don't even know if it had non-stair access. And let me tell you, it was musky and muggy in there. And honestly, it was just kind of small. It reminded me of those sweaty, stanky sweat boxes of AX Chibi. I don't even blame the congoers here. It's a giant tent in the LA sun, with everyone sweating. I don't care how good the ventilation is, it is going to get ranks fast. Being an absolute cardboard otaku, I needed my TCGs however, and I did manage to give out a few of this Caster Chronicle TCG demo deck for people to try and hope some players enjoyed it. I have a few videos on this Magical Girl TCG coming out, so check them out if it looks interesting to you. I guarantee you might have some fun. And I'm already having fun with Caster Chronicles, getting this sick caster token from Red Zone Rogue, a TCG friend I've been grateful to hang out and talk card games and anime with for the past couple of anime expos, which you guys have probably heard about him if you like TCGs at all. Guy's been around for a while now, talking about all the cool games. I was pleasantly surprised and then horrified to learn he had watched my shooting myself in Japan video, because I guess I didn't think much about it being viewed by people I don't know, but people I do, it's you know, oh poop. My other TCG friends I sometimes play card games with on his channel, Doku Denpa Cards, kind of bought in on My Little Pony to try, and well, I ended up too. I remember seeing these in Japan when I went, but I mostly remember seeing them not being in stock and signs saying they were sold out. I have no idea how it plays, but the starter boxes are weirdly heavy, so that's pretty curious of in its own, and honestly the foiling on the cards, it just looks superb. I'm no brony, but due to working at a card shop when the first game came out sometime in 2012, I'm way more familiar with the franchise than someone claiming not to be a clopper should be. Anyway, I'll be doing a box opening video here later if that's of interest to any pony morbidly curious about the new game or my history with the franchise. The main My Little Pony booth was giving out My Little promos, and the line day 4 was stupidly long. I did manage to get this cool foil poster, film some of the nice cards I could potentially be pulling later in my video, and trade a Fluttershy for a Pinkie Pie I wanted. Not because I know who she is or anything. Yeah, no, I totally do. I mean, I pretty much handled the game when I was working another card shop. Another booth I was very excited to check out, Beyblade X, had a huge booth. I recently got back into Beyblade and picked up some pretty ones you can take a look at in my prior 5K Anime TCG Japan vlog. Now, I've only been playing with some friends, and nothing serious, even if I've been prepping a bit with watching the tactics on meta and the launches. That being said, I am an absolute beginner to Beyblade X, as the last time I took Beyblade seriously I was 14 and the Metal series had just launched, or let it rip. Seeing that the Beyblade X booth had a mini tournament, I thought, hey, why not? Thinking we would just be playing in this area behind the booth, you know, just shooting the crap. Nope. Somehow I ended up on stage playing my first real Beyblade match ever. They also made us stand up to launch, and I don't know if that's typical or what, but I'm a tall dude with a bum back, so that part wasn't super fun. Anyway, I lost squarely, but the chill dude I played versus, I'd been talking to in line, and, you know, they were there to win, so I'm not too upset. The crowd also seemed to like that I was playing my favorite Bey, that's kind of a meme, I guess. The Bullet Griffin. It splits into two when playing. I think it's really neat. So in the end, at least the crowd had fun, and honestly, I was laughing by the end too. The booths in general were very cool this year. Even if the corporate Expo part of the con is clearly in full swing, every booth seemingly offers photo ops, from Madaka's new outfits at the Aniplex booth, tantalizing the movie for the 20th year in a row, to the Dorohedoro backdrops. Crunchyroll gave out some posters and other freebies, and even had this horrific Sentenced to be a Hero animatronic. No, seriously, it looks like a Muppet was skinned and tortured and stretched across an anime sex doll. I see the vision, but mostly I just see my soul being sucked away by filming this. I always love stopping by the J-Novel or Katakawa booth, particularly because of the sales they end up offering. Now, all of these aren't from the booth, as some were picked up in the new Kinokuniya that opened, but it's related to my favorite light novels, so let's take a look. My favorite light novel is Ascendance of a Bookworm. It might actually just be my favorite book series at this point. They're giving out freebies for the first couple chapters of certain manga and light novel at the J-Novel booth. Now, J-Novel releases like chapters weekly and monthly. I subscribe to them. They're really great if you follow a bunch of different light novels like I do, and if you're just kind of interested, they have a lot of like first chapters free, so you can kind of get a feel if you want to go ahead and keep reading them. I watched this a couple seasons ago. It was could have been better, but you know, sometimes the manga is better than the adaptation, so I was curious to pick it up, and it's free. Now, this was a volume I've been waiting for a while, volume 14, well, Byojo Senkei or Tanya, the Saga of Evil. The new anime actually just aired at Anime Expo Season 2, and it's been like 7 or 8 years since Season 1, and like 5 years since the movie, so, you know, No Game Alone Life has a chance. I love that light novel too. It's basically World War II if World War I never happened, and it's pretty interesting. The author's kind of crazy about weird alternate history and talking about it. The manga is a lot more cute. This first volume is the first time that I think that it's actually come out in English. I have the Japanese ones, but yeah. I've been collecting these. I have the Kindle editions, I've read it all, and the web novel, but I love my physical media. I like having the complete collection of things. Even though there is the hardback coming out, I'm like, I gotta pick these up. And here's your not spoiler-free poster that Crunchyroll gave out. The Witch from Mongolia mangas I picked up after the premiere, as Science Saru is one of my favorite studios in that everything they make kind of looks really interesting, and the first 2 episodes sold it enough for me to grab the mangas for. Since I couldn't film this either, let me show you what happens.
It's those goddamn Mongolian again! Stop! Stop right there, Mongolian! God damn it, stop! Stop!
I think the first 2 episodes are actually out for anyone to watch. It was gorgeous. I'm really excited to read it and keep watching it. Shadow House is something that I've been reading since the anime came out. The manga is just as good, and I'm kind of sad that it takes forever for the new volumes to come out. But it is what it is when it comes to these things. Now, this is Elf Village 2. I have the first art book. These are a collection of different artists that they get to design and make these kind of etchy elf statues Good Smile puts out. The books actually have all the design works and like the sketches and stuff that the artist goes through to get approved and whatnot. It's just very etchy. It's nothing like super bad. It's just very etchy Brown Dust 2 tier if you're a gacha player or whatever. I just really wanted that book. I have the first one. And on ecchi, Media Blasters was at Anime Expo for the first time in what felt like forever, with some Blu-rays of some classics like, you know, this one, if you know, you know, and I don't know, like, you can't really find some of these anymore, and now that Right Stuff has been destroyed. This is like a brand new Blu-ray. I don't think it's ever been on Blu-ray before. I was super stoked. I think they only had like 3 copies left, and I immediately picked it up. This is an awesome anime about being an otaku in the 90s and college. I always have fun wandering the booths and seeing new figures, scales, cars, giant setups, what have you. By day 3 or 4, that's my typical MO between panels. Wander the halls, look at all the interesting stuff, see if I missed anything. Sadly, there was kind of just less this year due to the con literally being smaller, but overall it was still choked full of neat stuff, even if, as usual, I focused on the figures. AX has been slowly spreading its hentai virus across the city, with Kodansha House down the street in Little Tokyo starting up, like, literally for this event, and I guess it's going to keep going. It's going to have, like, multiple different areas pop up and rotate along the shop for a foreseeable future. Probably something like the other one by Jungle, if you know, you know, because I can't remember the name of that one. It has, like, Sega and Final Fantasy. But anyway, man, this Kodansha House place was really cool. I even got to ride the Akira bike for a slide that they send you a video of later, and I almost flipped the prop on its side, and they didn't quite like that. But I got to wear the cool jacket, so, you know, anyway. There was also a artist alley set up in the area outside the con, but I couldn't find parking and was tired, so I just didn't go. It It was also really hot by day 4 when I thought, hey, maybe I'll head over. Thinking about it, I also missed the Yabai Art Museum this year, and now, whoops. Overall, on defending AX, the jury is still in and out, like the burger the tourists rave about so much. It had some good stuff and some not so good stuff, and I'm hopeful that by next year, with feedback, they'll figure out the issues construction caused this year. I'd say the Olympics might impact it, but we just had the World Cup and it wasn't all that bad, sans traffic, so maybe it'll be fine? Usually on this channel I talk anime card games and anime card games, or really anything I kind of like that's in that wheelhouse, I guess. If you enjoyed this at all, please leave a follow and share. I'm Tamanon, I'm super close to being a YouTube partner, sorta, so your view matters a lot. Thank you for watching.